Is the sound still working? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is great. All right. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. You know, in real life, when you're grown up,
I'll give you a grown up.
you gotta handle shit. Hopefully that was past the first 15 seconds. If not, I'll buffer it. But regardless, adults gotta handle shit. And man, oh man, I've been dealing with some stuff, and had to kind of like take a sidebar. On top of the fact, politically and legally and all of these things that are going on in the US of A, this shit is wild. But
Take a breath, make a plan, and try your best.
this is Minecraft, so let's put that stuff to the side and talk about some redstone. Where I left off, where did I leave off? I post things sporadically, if you haven't noticed, but in posting these things, I still try to put out components, various little components, and I'll make a little short, a YouTube short about it, or a gift if you're a part of my Discord. If you are, you know. Well, okay, you know. I post there more regularly because it's focused, less like worried about clicks and views and what have you. But I definitely understand that there are some people that are interested in what I post on YouTube, so here we are. Now, one of the last things I have been building, just like in whatever little free time I get, is this massive thing. Those of you in the know that this is a 256 byte read-write RAM, and it's able to read-write with a bunch, and when I say a bunch, I mean a bunch of tech that not many people know or even really understand, to be honest. But when I even see a glimpse of something promising, I'm able to iterate on it faster than I can really care to think about. It just bugs me. It just bugs me, and I'm like, oh, wait, there's a potential here that it could do more than, whatever. But a couple things that we will be going over is writing things to a hex loop and transmitting hexadecimal information really quickly, like across I believe it's about 2 ticks. 2 ticks once it enters a hex broadcast system. In about 2 ticks it is decoded and is on one of 15 or 16 really other Y levels, which has been a Achilles heel for hex redstone. Trust me, I've been doing it a while, and it's been annoying to concede in trying to move hex, like 4 blocks max, blocks per redstone tick. That's not good. Binary, all of these binary Java players think they're better than us, but they're not. Okay, so bear with me. I'm gonna walk you through all of this redstone madness, and you too will be on board with hexadecimal in Bedrock. I'm sorry, Java. Let me get close. Let me get close to you right there. I'm sorry, Java. You gotta understand, Bedrock is just faster. It's just faster. C++ has a way of doing things that Java, in its illustrious update cycle, and requirements for a desktop computer when the majority of computers are RISC-based. Okay, let me stop. Let's just get into the work, all right? let's just get into the work. Okay, so a couple people will be mentioned. Witten, the dude that first got me into writing information to hex loops. Second is Rubik's the Slime. Rubik's the Slime.
Well, first we start with a red coder and a ROM.
So sick.
Pretty reasonable place to start, I would say.
Sick.
You know,
I want them to come to Bedrock so bad, because I think they would love it, because they clearly love hex, and they need Bedrock. They just need, it's 10 hertz. But hex broadcast, right? Rubik's showed me a video that that allows you to transmit, and I believe they called it a hex to hex lookup table, and ultimately you put in hex value for the address that you're looking for on a system, and you're able to pull from that address. I'll put a link to their thing. But these columns here are hex broadcast systems that I've modified once I fully understood the hex loop system. And actually,
but
this was a new take on it.
So we let the signal decay and then fix it several times in order to broadcast a signal.
You blew it!
And I broke down their math. Maybe I'll display that on screen. And figured out that you are able to take an address as long as you have it stored, and that's what those furnaces are there for. It stores the set value, and you're basically using a hex repeater line. One that I initially thought was just dumb. This is too wide and useless for what it was supposed to do. And once hex broadcast came on it, well, actually, once multiplexing came on to it, and that was something that I ended up discovering just from my SOC.
To outer space.
Once that came on board, I was like, okay, there's some potential to this. And then Rubik's was like, oh, also, you can pull data, and I was like,
what?
Let's go. So this thing, basically, data will come in, and I'll explain all of this spaghetti in a minute. Data comes in when timed perfectly on a clock, and this was something Witten and myself developed. Witten had worked out how to get 1 through 15 on a hex loop. And 1 through 15, or I should say 15 to 1 on a hex loop, and have it addressed. And basically, it was an equality checker, on the loop that would set the time, right? And we worked together to get that zero value. It's been like a year now, and we've gotten that design down to even smaller. So now it can be implemented in this system. Now, when that clock strikes the right time, after the address is set, and the page address is set, and the shelf that we're using is set, data can flow in. When that data flows in, two things are happening in this design. It's being split initially with the help of this target block, and it goes around and then heads up. This one sets the value that's coming in, because you need to know what it is and how strong it is going up the line. But as the actual value comes in, about like 1 tick later, it is powering multiple hex repeater lines. But along those hex repeater lines, we have furnaces filled to various levels that correspond to the Y level from the source. And once you have all of this information, and that is feeding into what's being read, you can get the exact hex value transmitted on every Y level. And this design here, this vertical broadcast, allows you to position it on every Y level. Now, since you have everything on every Y level, the other thing we have here is a red line red coder going up the center of here. Once you have that address set, only those lines can be written to. And again, you now have a fully addressable writing system for memory. Not only is this expandable if you change the clock, what I ended up going with is 8 redstone ticks for each module, and then separating it by various toggleable settings that I'll go over maybe later. Now that you have your data in these read-write loops, I have another red coder that was hardwired to the read setup down below. And once that happens and the clock is triggered, we have a few other paths that travel down below in tandem with this clock pulse right here. That allows us to read if we want to read, but that is also toggleable with some additional redstone. And on this end, we have basically a redesign of Rubik's the Slime's hex broadcast system, but using some of BEDROCK exclusive mechanics with like glass and redstone being able to travel down. I also have another one below where the redstone's traveling up, but again, we have the same redstone logic that's being used here, and it's just beautiful. Now, additionally, how are we getting the data into these things, and how are we controlling it? Let's go into Spectator real quick. And in Spectator, you see we have one input line here. We also have another input line here, and this is for all of the function controls. I am not going to go over these functions because I managed to get all 16 functions managed and kind of needed to get all 16 functions to control this massive beast. But managed to get all 16 controls, and you can see here these are basically acting as latches for various things, from reading and not reading to writing, not writing, toggling which side we're going to be reading and writing from, and whether we're reading from the lower shelf or the upper shelf. That helps us to isolate either this, and so on. But outside of that, what else do we have? And we have a few registers. We have like a total of 4 registers just to be able to control all of this. To set the page that we're using, where is that? To set the page that we're using, we got this line here coming in to interact with our clock. The page is set via the clock. We have another line coming in. Where is it? Here it is. This is our what interacts with the red line red coder for the where are we? Okay, that's going there. That's feeding back here. Oh, yep. Yeah, this is going into the read to let it know what address is to be read there, as well as it should have been going, if I could find it. There we go. Going into here, boom, and this is the write column, so that it knows what the address is to write. In the future, I kind of want it to, I think there could be some good minigame potentials. If I can subtract from the write column, I can write to multiple shelves in this design. But I just have this sitting here as I should put a sign on it that says like multiple write shelf, maybe. All right, and what else do we have? So we've got the shelf address, we've got the page address. We've got our input line, and we can just follow this right here. It hits that, it hits this, goes up, and all of these things, wherever you see a copper bulb, I want to say lamp so bad, but wherever you see a copper bulb, it is latching a certain path, and it can be interact with this red line red coder down here. And what else? But you can kind of see that all of these things lead back to the input line, which I've kind of updated with a combination of Rubix's technology and some tech that I developed previously. It is now called the, wait, is this it? Well, this is the Hex Downcast. I'm going to update that name. But the system is like Hex Muxcast. Just because it can be used for multiplexing. You can send data down as well as sending data back up. Here we have a multiplexing junction that allows the data to flow in only one direction depending on where it's received. But then, you know, I have an input side and an output side, and neither will, you know, kind of fall back on itself unless it's actually outputting something. So I guess at this point you want to see how it works, and I'm wondering if I should. I'm wondering if I should. And I'm wondering if I should. Ooh, yes. Okay. This is my phone test. Okay. Let's go. Please. It should code, and then data. Let's go. Code, and then data. Code, and then let's go. Alright, another test. What I did was I moved up the data one tick. Yes, let's go. Latched perfectly. Perfectly. Because that last bit of data, it should code, and then data. Code. Now that thing should be clearing. Opening. Data. Wait, what? What just happened? How did that get replaced? The data got overwritten for some weird reason. Well, what did I just say? Let's slow this game down so you can kind of see it. And now you know what the commands do. We've got a command, a little bit of command, then data, and then another command. I think I know what path I'm going to fly so that we can see everything. So, push. You can see the next cycle. It will, oh, spectator. Boom, there it goes. Let's go. It's going to spit out there. It's going there. It's going down. We've got data hitting our line here. And then, oh, not data. We got functions hitting that line there. Next, we've got this is going to unlatch. Boom, there it is. And then we've got our 1001 going there. We're flying up. It's going to fall into this one. Oh, or this side. I think it was this side. There it is. Holy crap. It's already down. Oh, there it is. We beat it. Oh, there it is. It's going back up. 1011. 1001. Boom, there it is. Boom, there it is. Let's go. What? Like, I haven't set this up to read both, but, and it's like lamp speed. But yeah, I've got a beard now. Finally, the demo is done. Deuces! So that should be coming down here. There it
Stand
is.
by. To outer space.
See that?
To outer space.
To
outer space.
Those are
Great
our 2
adventure.
packets of
You
data,
to outer space.
and we
Great
can see
adventure.
that latch,
You please
and then
stand by.
relatch, and then this unlatch, and also relatch. And the 2 values, I
Stand
believe we
by.
had
To outer
1
space. To outer
down
space.
here, and
To outer space. Great adventure. You to outer space. Great
let's go.
adventure.
And not only
You
is it stored
please
there,
stand by.
we've got it stored down here.